to discussing relationships. First and foremost, we know that we cannot discuss relationships without talking about purity. Although there are many verses about purity in the Bible, I'm going to read Romans 12, verse 1. It says, "Therefore I urge you, brothers and sisters, in view of God's mercy, to offer your bodies as a living sacrifice, holy and pleasing to God. This is your true and proper worship." I know that in society and in our culture here in America, being pure is not the most popular thing to do. Since I grew up in America, I can definitely tell you that I've grown up with many people who once had an idea and a heart for purity. However, once we got to middle school and high school, because of the pressures and how sex seems to be advertised everywhere, a lot of people lost that passion and desire to remain pure. But as Christians, we are called to be pure, not just because, God says so, but there are a lot of significant reasons for it. So I'm going to go through a couple of them. One of them is because we are God's prized possessions. God died for us. He shed his blood for us. Obviously, that means that our bodies are precious. That means that our lives are priceless. We are not just here for fun, as someone mentioned earlier. Therefore, we need to make sure to uphold who we are by presenting ourselves well and by remaining pure. Another reason is because being pure is also being intentional. Sometimes in conversations that I've had with other people who are non-believers, they say that, sometimes engaging in sex before marriage just happens. However, as Christians, we are called to be intentional. We should not just allow these situations to happen. We should make sure that we have boundaries with people that we may be dating. We also want to make sure that we have boundaries in the way that we speak with other people and make sure that we are presenting ourselves as women of God. Another reason is because being pure is being obedient, and obedience is an act of worship. We're called to worship God also not just with songs as we did earlier with dance, but as well with our body. Another reason is if you want to build a romantic relationship, you want to build it with God. And the best way to do that is by being pure. If we're to build a relationship that God is not the center of, then we will have to find ways in the future to sustain it without him. So if you want God to sustain your future marriage, you also want to put him at the center of your dating relationship. Another reason is to give everything to God. We're not just called to give God our time. We're not just called to give God our attention, but our bodies as well. And last but not least, if a guy really loves you and he really wants to be in a relationship with you and he's really serious about his walk with God, then he will make sure to honor you, and he'll also make sure to honor God and himself by remaining pure. So I'll leave this time to Tari.